All right, in our group, we chose to do problem number 15.33 on page 629. And the problem is a story describing a date rape was read by 352 high school students. The story was accompanied by either a photograph of the victim dressed provocatively, a photograph of the victim dressed conservatively, or no photo. Each student was asked whether the situation described in the story was one of rape. So our hypothesis is going to be, is there evidence that the proportion who believe that the story describes a rape differs from the three different photo groups? Our null hypothesis is going to be that they are all the same. Our test hypothesis will use an alpha of level 0.01. And so in order to test our null that the photo groups are the same, we will do a chi-square goodness of fit test. So using our data, which is here, first we are going to calculate our totals for the data. So as you can see, we have our rate in the three different photo groups and then our total, and we will do that throughout the entire table. Okay, next we will calculate our expected values by using this formula. So our expected value will be the total from each row times the total of the column divided by our grand total. So for example, we would take our total of the row times the total from the column and divide it by our grand total. So the pink numbers highlighted here are going to be our expected values. All right, once we calculate our expected values, we can now calculate our chi-square statistic. So our chi-square statistic is going to use this formula. We are going to take the observation value minus the expected value, square that, and divide it by our expected value, and we will do that for every group category in the table. So as we do that, we are going to come up with this formula here. Again, using the first box here, we will take the 80 minus the expected, so that's the observation minus expected, divided by the expected. And so as we calculate out that formula, we will come up with a total of 28.78. That is our chi-square statistic. Now, in order to test this statistic, we will calculate our critical value. We need two things. We need our degrees of freedom, which can be found here. We will take our number of rows minus 1 times our number of columns minus 1, which gives us a degree of freedom of 2. And our alpha level is the second part, which is a 0.01. Our critical value is found to be 9.21. So upon testing our chi-squared statistic with our critical value, we found that we will reject our null. The groups are definitely different since our chi-squared statistic is greater than our critical value. Acknowledgements for this group will go to Anna Maldonado, Desiree Rodriguez, and Brent Larson.